Good day, my friends. So happy you could be with us. I have so much to say on so many subjects. On this may be problematic for a lot of people who like their stuff kind of, one at a time, like stick to one subject for a long, long time. I don't know if I can do that today because my head is exploding with so much of what I want to tell you, so much. And it's, well, let me just say what happened. Today, for the first time, Mrs. L and I, every now and then will say, let's go to the movies. Let's just go. It's kind of like Memorial Day, whatever. And we went to our local stuff, and I saw, what was it? The Devil Wears Prada 2. Okay. Now, whenever I go to these things, my first inclination is going to be, I'm not going to like it. I don't really care about these people. I always end up learning something about it, getting something from it, find some interpretation, something. And this was no exception. There was something about in the middle of the day being at a theater, a really nice theater, nice chairs, I know, but it's one of these huge Lincoln, it's right by Lincoln Center, this IMAX 13 and all this stuff. And the place, we were like the youngest ones there. I don't know what the hell this was, but it was packed with a lot of folks. And it's an excellent, excellent, excellent movie. Excellent. And what I kept thinking about was, I don't know if anybody today, especially younger folks, would understand this notion of fashion. Fashion? Do you think they really, seriously, fashion? I don't even know if that makes any, I don't know if that even makes any difference. I don't know if anybody even knows what it means. They had to show it. Part of it was staged in Milan because it was about Vogue. It was based on Anna Wintour. It was so great to be reminded of what New York used to be like. When we had Fashion Week, we had Bryant Park, and you had, all the big shows. Remember that every year, the runways of Valentino, and it was wild. And now it's gone. It's just gone. New York was the. I remember years ago, right in the garment district, where people would be pushing these. What would you call them? These racks of clothes. It was like the third biggest or the largest manufacturing center in the world. It's just gone. And they still have places where we could buy buttons and little trimming. It was wonderful. And also it showed you what New York was like, where we had, the people going to beautiful restaurants and people were classed up. It was fantastic. Great plot. It was about redemption. It was about people changing their evil ways. There's a lot of themes behind it. But it made me think, wow, another thing that we lost. When you lose, or nowhere on the phylogenetic tree or the platform, where fashion doesn't exist at all. Fashion, style, elegance, gone. It's just gone. And the society is affected by that greatly. Italy still has it. Europe still has it. Milan has it. Venice has it. Venice has Pitti Uomo every year for the men's. It's something. Because we've turned into slobs, and people are walking around in their slides and their bonnets and pajamas and just, covered in tats and, just, it was very, very sad. But interesting, in the coming attractions, Toy Story 5 is coming. And what do you think it is? It's the toys at war with screen and tablets and AI and it's a great message. So that's important with that. So there is something to be said for a theater. You will appreciate something. It's too loud, and also the movie's supposed to start at 4:27. We went to a half an hour of all kinds of crap, which I find offensive. In any event. So that was that. Next, I'm starting to hear this business about this Memorial Day. Let's thank all of our men and women, but men who gave their lives to keep us free. To keep us free. Do you think anybody in Vietnam died to keep us free? Do you owe your freedom to anybody who died in Vietnam, Korea, World War II? I think the case could be made, and some may want. But I think fascism, I think Hitler, that was a good one. Why do we keep having this canned, corny? I'm not saying that to honor people who've died in war. I'm not saying that because they did it wearing our uniform, and I understand it. But don't say that our freedom isn't free. If I hear one more person say that, it's like, can you come up with something new? Stop perpetuating war and stop perpetuating death by linking all death with all freedom. Vietnam did not bring me any freedom whatsoever. Vietnam did not. Sorry. Hate to tell you this. Doesn't mean that they died in vain. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't honor them. But stop saying this. It just drives me nuts. And then I heard somebody say today, oh, look at this. Ray Young's a new member. Give it up for Ray Young, everybody. Give Ray a big hand. Ray, go right to the front of the line, get some crumb cake, have a seat. Welcome. Who was it? Ainsley, who said, all conservatives, we support Israel. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, do you have any idea of the complexity of this? Who are this is why conservative TV, conservative talk, it's nuts. That's not even, do you know what's going on in this world? Do you have any idea? They don't. The complexity, the sides. There was a guy, I'm not gonna mention his name, but it was, I guess, somebody you'd call a lib. I just did not like anything about him. I didn't like him. I didn't watch him. I didn't care for him. I don't know why. I just didn't particularly care for him. Did not care for this dude, this fella. He made one of the most important points. I forget who it was. It might have been on that PDB show. By the way, that's for morons. And the moron of them, Patrick David, and this Adam something Sizzler is mentally retarded. I mean, Simeon level retarded. This guy he's a fool. And I thought, you're dead. You are so dead. You're missing one of the most importantly complex issues regarding not Israel, but the whole notion of Middle East and American involvement. How about us going after him and trying to charge or to indict Raul Castro with murder? Murder. We shot people out of the sea in boats that we thought were involved in drug dealing. We didn't know. Maybe they were. Not sure. Do you understand the unmitigated audacity of this? How do we? Is anybody? Who cares? We're not doing it. Next, Tulsi Gabbard stepping down as DNI. Tulsi Gabbard is, I think, one of the most talented. She is the reason maybe for some kind of future. Ladies and gentlemen, Jen Craven says, you rock, Lionel. Keep up the great work and thank you for all the laughs. Thank you so much for that. That is absolutely so kind of you. The laughs, that means a lot to me. And you know why? Because if I can make you laugh at something and understand it, you will appreciate it even more. You will appreciate it even more by virtue of the fact that it's funny. It's nuts. There's something to be said. There's something about it that I think is kind of funny. And also, I think what I'm trying to do is show you the absurd part of it. Some of it is just absurd. It is sheer and unmitigated lunacy. So, Jen Craven, I don't think you're craven, perhaps, but thank you for this. Thank you for your very kind words. I don't know if you get any not jokes about this, but anybody talk to you about this? You know, I don't think you're lacking in courage or cowardly or anything, but as far as I'm concerned, but there you go. There you go. So anyway, so Tulsi Gabbard, she basically said Iran is in no way near getting a nuclear bomb. She basically went against everything that the president said. So she's gone claiming she says her husband had some kind of rare form of bone cancer. She wants to be with him. I hope the best for him, and I hope the best for her. I like her. There is so much. Let me tell you something. In my administration, I would have Democrats and Republicans. Do you agree with me on this? When it comes to war and expenditure, I'll take everybody. It might get tough sometimes on maybe issues of, I don't know, social justice but anyway, but I was watching this guy today who I didn't like. Anna Kasparian, I thought was a lunatic before. She's brilliant when it comes to the issue of war. Other stuff too later on is a different story. So remember this. Completely throw away your idea of being a part of party. Do you have this? We are not a member of a party. We are not a member of a party. I'll be your issue president. Here's my issue. I believe in this, and this. I don't know if the Republicans or the Democrats agree with me. Who gives a shit? I don't care. This is what I believe in. This is what I believe in. I was listening to Ann Coulter today on another part. She makes a lot of sense in many, many characteristics. And some people just don't like Ann Coulter because she has that wonderful sound that, by the way, this is one of my favorite books. This is David Graham's. And David Graham's has one of the best. This is called Dim Boxes, Epops, and Other Quitums. And one of my favorite words, and I'm always, is it dentologist or dentilliquist? And I always forget this one. It is dentilliquist. I was close enough. And this is a great word. This book is so old. Dentilliquist. The tight bite who talks like that. Who with closed or nearly closed choppers, literally, through clenched teeth. Does one become a dentilliquist through hereditary family traits? Possibly, though keeping the teeth locked may also be a way to keep a grip on the emotions or even to keep from biting someone. Dentilliquists are Connecticut debutantes, seething parents, failed ventriloquists, and Clint Eastwood. But she has this thing. She had a bit of a lisp. And she's a dentilliquist. So I'm listening to her, and she makes a lot of sense regarding this stuff. I'm telling you, it's a huge story. Another thing was this past week with you're going to love this, with Candace Owens and Hunter Biden. Hunter made some point, and people were saying, "Yeah, but Hunter's a creep." It's like, can you listen to what he's saying? Yeah, but he's a creep. Yeah, okay, he's a creep. I understand. Yeah, but Biden yeah, you're right about that. I don't understand this. This Devil Wears Prada. You remember how this redemption, how the character, honey, of Anna Wintour? By the way, Meryl Streep is a monster. Anne Hathaway is a monster. This Blunt, Kenneth Branagh, this is a Shakespearean actor. What the hell was he doing in there? Stanley Tucci sounded exactly like Paul Schaefer. Exactly. But she turned. She had a moment. She kind of came to Jesus and That's what this is about. You've got to listen to people who will tell you stories about addiction. And yes, they do terrible things, but their story does not invalidate, or excuse me, their past does not invalidate the legitimacy and the accuracy of their story merely because they've been, dirtbags in the past. Okay, so that's it. Next, I want to tell you something. On 53rd, right there on Broadway, 53rd, is the Ed Sullivan Theater. And right there is where the Beatles were, and this was the Colbert, and then Letterman was there. When Letterman first came out late night, Letterman was the greatest show. It was so innovative. Bill Sheff and others were doing it. It was some of the greatest things I've ever seen. It was brilliant. And he didn't talk about politics. You enjoyed it. Remember, there was a woman they were looking at across the street or something, this young woman that because he was always like, remember, he fell madly about over Natalie, what's her name from 10,000 Maniacs? Natalie Merchant. He just went crazy over her, and then he went crazy over a lot of people, Stevie Nicks. But there was a woman, remember, who was like worked across, and they looked in the window and they called her up and they brought her over. He was just gaga over her. Anyway, it was kind of like he was this awkward kind of a dude, and he was really great. And then he went completely ape shit, bat shit, crazy lefty, but he was great. Craig Ferguson was tremendous. Absolutely. One of a kind, completely different. In the era of Jack Parr. Jack Parr is like one of my heroes. Jack Parr is a hero. And I got to tell you this story. I was very, very proud of this. One day, my friend, years ago when I was first came to New York, first doing my thing on ABC, I was talking about O.J. Simpson every day. I just owned it. And one day my friend called me from Tampa and he said, "Do you know Charles Grodin?" I said, "I know who he is." He goes, "No, do you know him?" I said, "No, I never met him." He says, "Well, he's talking about you on his show on that CNBC, which was the precursor, America's Talking, whatever. That was Roger Ailes. That was the precursor to Fox News." That's what it was. It was in Secaucus at the time. Or Fort Lee, actually. Excuse me, Fort Lee. So I said, "No, I never heard of him." Well, I got this invitation to go on Charles Grodin's show. And he and I got along great. And he never met my particular talent before. I mean, he knew. I mean, the guy's an actor. He's worked with everybody. And the first time I ever met him, I was there, and he said, "I'm so sorry, because his timing was always terrible." He said, "Look, I only have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes." I said, "Listen, do me a favor. Say, what do you think about OJ? Sit back and just let me go to work." And I came out like a maniac. I put more words. I spoke as fast. He didn't know what hit him. They loved it. I came back because they wanted a performance. Remember the guy Tavis Smiley? Oh, I would just berate him. I said, "Tavis, your name sounds like an antihistamine. Who the hell are you? What do you know?" Anyway, they were like, "Who is this guy? You're not supposed to ask somebody who they are." I said, "Well, why not? Who the hell is he?" And he thought that was so funny. I said, "I got one more question, Chuck. What is it? Who the hell is he? Who are these people?" In fact, it was so funny. One time I was in the makeup room and this woman came in. He goes, "Okay, I'm supposed to say this. Tavis wants me to tell you to lay off." Okay, I said it. Now, have fun. Now, that meant tear him apart. So anyway, I'm talking to Charles Grodin. He said, "I live in Greenwich, Connecticut, and my pals are Regis Philbin, who I became he was the best of friends before he I like when people say before he died. Well, no kidding. Of course, before he died. But I loved him. But anyway, he said, but you know who told me to listen to you? And this was a Jack Parr. He listens to you. I never met him, never. I said, Jack Parr, yeah. He listens every day, told me to listen to you. All right. So those people were just unique, very unique. Regis would tell a story. They were great storytellers, and they just did certain things. They were wonderful. Then, as you know, it got to be very expensive. It got to be very, very, very expensive. One time I went to do a tour of the Ed Sullivan Theater, which is now it's Colbert Theater, but it's where Letterman was. And remember, honey, they had the reinforcement for the elephants. They brought in elephants on the stage. I was there where the Beatles were, right there. And underneath, below, they have these reinforcement, these beams that had to be added because they would bring in sometimes circus acts and elephants, and it was wild. So anyway, so that was a great, great time. Well, it got to be expensive, next thing you know. And then came Trump and a ruin. What I'm trying to tell you is that all of it is over. And Stephen Colbert killed it, probably more. And I think Kimmel killed it. Killed this, killed it. Killed this, because I'm telling you, Americans, during the whole, during the mask and the jabs and all that, people weren't crazy about that. People didn't feel, oh, this is wonderful, let's do a dance. And this guy danced. He looked like Peter Allen. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Rio? When my baby, Liza Minnelli's ex. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just saying. But he did it, and Kimmel, and they realized, you're ruining it. It killed everything. Then it was too expensive. So it's over. So what you're seeing is right now, this is it. Sorry to break it to you. This is it. I'm talking to you right now. I'm talking to Jen Craven, for God's sakes. This is Jen Craven. Can you imagine anybody, Letterman say, hey, Jen Craven's out there. No, we're talking to each other. You're talking to me. You're talking to each other. This is the wildest thing in the world. And there's no commercials. There's no nothing. There's no studio audience. There's none of this crap. And you get good, you get bad, you whatever. You get that idiot, that moron Patrick Bet David, and that super simian cretinous Boeotian Adam dipshit, whatever his name. These are the dumbest people. I like to have her and Ainsley on. I love our troops. Remember this? This was like conservatism for people under anesthesia. It's like, that's not conservatism. She took all of the... Anyway, so it's over. It's over. And you're looking at, and I'm looking at you. You are the vanguard, the new people, and not just in this country, but all over the world. Do you hear what I'm saying? All over the world. And we speak, and a lot of people are coming in and they're saying, and I'm saying, come on in. There's no litmus test for this. There's no litmus test. Certainly there's some things I'm going to say that you may not agree with, but I think some people might say, you know what? I kind of like the show. I like this guy. He's all right. He's not yelling at me. I'm always telling you, I understand how people can say certain things. And I recognize this. And that's why it's so critical and so important and so monumentally necessary. I cannot say enough. What Candace did for us. What Candace did for us, which is just like something you've never, it was so huge. People came in. I met people, some of the nice people. Many of you came over because of her. And by the way, she told me, I think she's got something planned, but she told me, she said, we're going to do something together. Hell, I'll even go see her, because I think she's that big. I really do. I think she's transcendental. But this isn't, I don't know what you call the name of this stuff. I love UAPs and UFOs. I love unexplained phenomena. I love true crime. I love politics, media manipulation. I love law, culture, what you would call conspiracy theories, technology, history, and the stories and the things that mainstream media often overlook. And I love also something that's funny, and I want to get your engagement, but I love stuff that doesn't fall into any particular pattern one way or the other. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense? I love now tonight from 2 to 5 on weekends, it's called Another Side of Midnight. That's the name they give it. I'm not wild about it, but anyway, I like the Lionel Show, which is what I call it, but it's on WABC. And you could tell they don't know what hit them, because nobody is going to be talking about what I talk about. And there's topics. Let me give you a little run through about what I'm talking about tonight. One's called Religion Will Never Just Go Away. Conversations about creeping nihilism and collapsing church and state and what modernity got wrong. Religion is something that people do not understand. And I've got friends of mine, I don't understand atheism. I don't understand it. Let me explain to you. What do you call when you don't speak French? I don't know. Is there a name for that? No. If atheism is a religion, then somebody said this, then not collecting stamps is a hobby. What is atheism? Who was it? What was a story about somebody, honey, was is atheism? Somebody, but it's some story. Oh, I know. We got some stupid, but anyway. You know this guy Metaxas? Doesn't that sound terrible? Something Metaxas, Eric Metaxas or something. I don't know. His whole thing is about atheism. Our good friend Shana Rossi says, I'm so thankful for Candy sending me here. I-L-Y, I love you. I love you too. She's incredible. See, I think we get along. And I think I can make her laugh. When I meet somebody that I can make laugh, you ever see me with Sean Atwood in the UK? He loses it. He hears I do this Southern accent thing, and he goes berserk. I have no idea. But I'll talk like that. I said, to give you 2 raisins for us, make this man out of you. He doesn't know what I'm saying, but he laughs. One time, Leslie Stahl on an interview killed her. You know who one of my Connie Chung, I never forget the chicks, but you know who the chick was who I had rolling? And my friend heard it, and if I told you this, you would think, no way. Maya Angelou. Who knew? Who knew? I was kind of joking around. I said, I understand your point. I said, but to be honest with you, I said, sometimes the whole rise thing like, man walking tall, look up in the sky, rise, rise. How many times did you say that? Hell, I can do that. She lost it. 6-pack of beer. I thought it'd be cold. Rise. Just say something. And then, I got a toaster. I better get rid of them crumbs. They could catch on fire. Rise. Anyway, so that's always that. So I think Candace and I will get along. Anyway, so looking at these topics. Atheism. People have to recognize something. There is a resurgence of you, and you've taught me this. Look at Candace, Catholic. So interesting. It's so wonderful to hear her, and even Hunter talk about Catholicism and the Jesuits and Mrs. Ellen and I. We grew up with it. We were in parochial schools, Catholic schools, and I remember all that stuff. And I'm very glad I did it. I am not an ardent acolyte. I am not somebody who certainly not a proponent, but I always tell people I'm kind of a retired Catholic, because I think if you don't go to mass and if you don't really follow the holy days of obligation, you're not a Catholic. You can say what you want, but there's something anyway. So Candace is doing this. So there's this resurgence that I speak about on a regular basis. Also, here's how about AI closes in on your job. This comes apart, by the way. This has led to doctor and lawyer warnings, hallucinating compliant medical and legal systems. You have hallucinating AIs. And the National Mall Prayer, people are saying they do not necessarily want this separation of church and state. They understand it, but they are not afraid of it. You hear what I'm saying? They are not afraid of it. There's this. We all know about the First Amendment, right? There's the Free Exercise Clause and the Establishment Clause. But in 1802, Thomas Jefferson wrote the famous Danbury letter. He wrote a letter to the Danbury Baptist Association. They wrote great letters. And he talked about the phrase, a wall of separation between church and state. And he wrote it to try to reassure religious minorities that the federal government would never interfere with religious belief, which is complete and utter bullshit, because there are people who have tried to enjoy their faith thinking that the Free Exercise Clause applied, when in fact it did not. And that always bothered me tremendously so. I think you should be able to do the stuff that people can do. I never understood this. You can't. In Hialeah, Florida, they didn't allow animal sacrifice for Santeria, but you can have Paschal lambs, and you can have koshering and halal slaughter, and that's okay. Look at this. AI license plate cameras tore this town apart. Dr. AI systems hallucinating non-existent medical issues with patients. We're seeing psychosis in AI systems. Think of the ramifications of that. Did you ever think this? A friend of mine just came back from Montreal, and she and her husband said, they have autonomous cars there. I said, you go in it? She says, absolutely not. That's going to be next. How about this? Got maggots? Doctors are bringing bugs into their practicing on purpose. Maggots for suturing. You see this, right? Right around debriding, whenever there's wounds where there's a cake-like residue of blood and suture, they bring in maggots to eat and to help with this. Also, maggots are very important sometimes in trying to determine toxicological results from people who have been found dead, and they want to see whether the person what their blood was, but there's no blood, but the maggots are there, and the maggots consumed it, so they take the maggots and they will blend the maggots and evaluate it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Adults, by the way, are reliving musical camaraderie of youth at band camps for grown-ups. Barnes & Noble CEO back selling AI-written books in stores. This is a tough one for me. The world has 6 months to avoid a major food crisis. Wheat crops could be the worst since 1972. Weather, fuel costs, pummel farmers. How about this? Have you in your town noticed this? Teen takeovers. Used to call it wilding. Have you heard this? We are seeing hordes and passels and groups and swarms of these wild teenagers who are just meeting en masse. The other night, Mrs. L and I were on the West Side Highway. We're going uptown, and all of a sudden, these kids are showing up on they have these weird kind of scooters. They're not motorcycles. They're not regular rice burners, as they say, but they're like little tiny. They were up to no good. The Jersey Shore and Memorial Day, they want to know whether they should have curfews, whether kids, juvenile delinquents again. Do you understand what I'm saying? Juvenile delinquents. This recurring problem is now we're seeing more and more becoming worse. Yep. Oh, how about this? Jersey Shore enforcing bag bans. You see this one, honey? Bag bans. I normally don't like bans. I'm not crazy about this. But there's this idea. Beach days turn bloody with 3 stabbed and violent brawls after teen takeovers in mob coastal towns. It's just like, this is, wild, crazy swarms of these people. This is incredible. And also, there's something which is also weird. The police are, how do I say this? The police are less than active in this. Several cities, by the way, counties and retail chains have implemented bag bans and restricted access policies for teenagers to curb retail theft, vandalism, and unruly behavior. Jersey Shore boardwalks, they're enforcing bans on backpacks and large bags. Who remembers when you were a kid? And I remember going to a concert, and if it was Saturday night, let's say it was at a stadium, 8:00, you wait till it gets dark. The gates would open at noon. Oh my God, look, Jen Craven, look at this, is a member. Jen Craven is going in for the trifecta tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Jen Craven says, I'm balls of the wall, in a manner of speaking, and thank you for that. We go there at noon. You showed up with lawn chairs, coolers, inflatable. Nobody stopped. Nobody checked anything. Go ahead. Dope like you can't believe. Dope and the smell of weed and all of this stuff. Is that special or no? It's not FaceTime, is it? No. Okay, good. Yeah, right. But it was wonderful. And then you were there all night. They had a beach ball, and then your band would come out and they played, and it was just wonderful the whole day. Now you've got metal detectors you can't do. You got to sit down. You got to take it. It's like, it's bullshit. Those were great. Those were them. Okay, let's have some fun. You want to have some fun? Okay. What was your first concert? I ask this every now and then. People love to answer it. Your first concert. I mean your first actual bona fide, real, legit rock and roll, or, might have been the Bee Gees or whatever it is. Soul, hip, I don't give a damn what it is. What was your first concert where you thought, wow, and you were a kid and you felt kind of like an adult? And they just dropped you off. It was like, this is great. What was it? Metallica at the Arco Arena. Menudo, look at this. Paradise, Menudo, Radio City. The Stones, Kiss 1979 Dynasty Tour. I miss the old Grateful Dead shows. Mark, I never saw a Grateful Dead ever. A show ever. I never saw them. Osmonds. Sis, you should have been a detective. She says, Osmond. Alan we just lost Alan, the oldest. Well, they had the two. Remember the twins who were like deaf? Imagine being deaf with the Osmonds. But Alan just passed away. Oasis Live. 3 Dog Night. Thank you. Like Missy Nickel. That's me. 3 Dog Night. 3 Dog Night. Humble Pie. Buddy Miles. At stadiums, they were the biggest. Elton John, Motley Crue. This is wonderful. Bruce Springsteen, Philly. I never was a big fan of it. Wow. Rush, the Mars Volta. Thompson Twins, Wembley Arena. Whoa. NKOTB. I don't know what that is. Peter Frampton, saw him. Remember Frampton Comes Alive, 1975, 76? Robert Pop. Look at the Osmond brothers, two Osmond, Kansas. It was awful. One of my old buddies was Robbie Steinhardt, the violin player in Kansas, the guy with the hair. He lived in Tampa years ago when I was doing afternoon driving. He just showed up one day and we just became buddies. England Dan, John Ford Coley, I really love to see you tonight. Live Aid, July 1985. Wow. What was your first one, honey? What was your first concert? First one that counts. Well, you know, I mean, a concert, not like something big at the Garden or someplace. No, it was a big one, a concert. Say it. Bruce Springsteen. Okay, it's all right. Led Zeppelin, ELP. Wow. Emerson, Lake and Palmer in Jersey City. Whoa, 74. That was great. You remember the Works album? Lend your love to me tonight. Divine and universal heart really. Notice I do the Emerson, Lake and Palmer as Ethel Merman. Very good. Charlie Daniels, Foghat, Wings, Sonny and Chet. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy there, by the way, says, Sonny and Chet. See, she was very upset. She said, I thought this was Sonny and Cher. No, read it carefully. Some guy named Chet. Just kidding. It was Sonny and Cher. Billy Joel. Tonic in Pomona, New Jersey. You got me there, my friend. You got me there. Tonic. You got me there. You got me. Paul Revere and the Raiders, Fish, Ted Nugent opened for Lynyrd Skynyrd, Pat Benatar, my 60th birthday, Frampton in 77. That's when Frampton Comes Alive. Sonny and Poor. See, now Cindy Thayer saying it was Sonny and Cher. No, I think it was Sonny and Chet. Don't be embarrassed. That Chet was something else. Johnny Winter, New Kids on the Block. Oh, New Kids on the Block. Sorry, excuse me. Any kind of, if you do any kind of letters, initials, I'm the worst. Sometimes you say, well, you know, CO and EK regarding PT on LB with the TPUSA. I'm thinking, Candace. I'm not good at that. I'm not good. Foreigner, Janis Joplin, Live Aid. Those were great. Exile, REO Speedwagon. Was that the original guitar player there who was Roll with the Changes? Remember, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Def Leppard, Santana, and Adelaide. Wow. In the 70s. And Adelaide, did you ever know a disc jockey, very famous, named Bob Francis? Huge. I was great friends with his son, Mark. Talk with him. He was George Strait, Faith Hill, Tim McGraw. Wow, look at this. Boston, Ozfest, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Iron Butterfly. Now, was this with the Eric Braun Iron Butterfly? Was this one of the best, one of my top 10 or my desert island albums is Iron Butterfly 1970 Metamorphosis with Eric Braun, Doug Ingle, Ron Bushy, Lee Dorman, L. Rhino or Larry Reinhardt, and Mike Panera. Mike Panera from Tampa, from West Tampa. Blues Image, Ride Captain Ride, that was him. Oh my God, loved Doug Ingle. Could never understand what he said. I read the words. I'm thinking, is that sure that's what he's saying? He did a song called Easy Rider. Not the one you're thinking about. Cause the people down the street gonna take a ride to be waiting for a midnight treat. Okay, I got that. Do you ever remember Hit Parader when you say, what are they saying? what are they saying? And you'd get this album or this magazine that had the lyrics. Concerts are expensive nowadays. Absolutely. Lionel, my first concert was, I said, Tampa Stadium, Three Dog Night, Buddy Miles, Humble Pie. I think Steve Marriott was there. Yeah, I think it was Frampton may have been with him. I don't know. And by the way, there was a bit of a riot. There was a bit of a riot, and they tore up the inseam or the whatever you want to call it, the field of Tampa Stadium. So one night it was in my old great Irish bar right in the hood, and guess who walks in? Danny Hutton from Three Dog Night. And I walk in, I tell the guy, I told the bartender, give him whatever he wants. I mean, keep him coming. Not just one. I mean, this guy's a legend. Born in Donegal, and they were great. So anyway, he came over to me. I said, listen, yeah, you were my first concert, man. You were it. Tampa Stadium. There was a riot. He goes, we had to pay for he's like, they charge him like for the whole field. I said, well, that's not fair. Anyway, do you remember what Three Dog Night did? They believed in giving new songwriters a chance. Think about the people. Paul Williams, Old Fashioned Love Song, In the Country, Laura Nyro, Eli's Coming, Hoyt Axton, Joy to the World, Randy Newman, Mama Told Me Not to Come, Elton John. They did Your Song. Who else? I mean, they were a songwriters. They were a songwriters band. They were unreal. Mike Alsop on guitar, Floyd Sneed, I think it was a drummer, Joe Shermy on bass, Jimmy Greenspoon on keyboard. It's so funny. I can't remember. I remember all the names of the people. Now I don't know where my keys are. I could tell the car. I could tell what car it was from the back lights at night. I could tell the car. Now I don't. The cars don't even. We have in our garage a new Ferrari SUV. Looks like, if from the back, looks like any other SUV. Why would you get a Ferrari SUV? Anyway. Things aren't the same. The concert is too expensive. And always, whenever we go, oh my God, whenever we go, there's always some woman standing who's got to sit up and do the sway. I said, would you sit down? She wants to show you how sexy she is because she's into the groove and she's got to get up and dance. And you must say, sit down, come on. Don't, fight the groove, lady. Just, you're ruining it if you're dancing like this. I don't want to be a pain in the ass, but for the love of God, come on. You know what also is terrific? And they're doing their last Guess Who? Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman. And Burton Cummings has this thing where he's got this thing right now. I don't know what he's doing with his teeth, but this guy in his prime, phenomenal. Best albums ever, Road Food and Rain Dance and Power in the Music. That's the stuff that's terrific. Fight the groove. That's right. Fight the groove. Yes, I hate that. A woman was standing when I went to my second Lionel Richie concert. Nothing like the 90s and early aughts. For me, 70s. The best. Absolutely, positively the best. I one time got the chance to go to see the Doobies record. They did a concert right around here, honey. It was a Sony studio, Sony sound studio, and I got invited and watched the Doobies in this little studio. Oh my God! Tyran Porter, one of the greatest bass players and singers. Did you know where we are right now? We also have power stations near us. Also, Hit Factory. Isn't Hit Factory used to be around here? Up the street. This used to be a great place for music videos. I'll leave it at that. There was also The Exorcist. The Exorcist was. Is it where CVS is or the apartment? Might be the apartment. Anyway, yeah. See, The Exorcist was right there, right kind of in the hood. West 54th Street. This is when they used to have these great concerts. John Prine. It's wonderful. 57th Street is where 60 Minutes was right around here too. This was a kind of a big area. But have you also noticed this? My number one, my Beatles, my everything growing up was Chicago. Absolutely. Uh-oh, look at this. Lem Pop. Welcome, Lem Pop. Let Lem up to the front. Plenty of crumb cake for you, my friend. Welcome aboard. Chicago was my... And when you saw the original group with Terry Kath on guitar, dear God. Terry Kath, Peter Cetera, Parazator, Lockney, Panko, Bobby Lamb, Danny Seraphin. And then when Terry Kath accidentally unalived himself, it was horrible. But now they've got this group, and I think it's just, I don't know who these people are. It's like when I saw the Temptations. Oh, this is interesting. My cousin and I loved Motown. Loved it. Loved. Oh my God. Temptations are my favorite. They are it. Psychedelic Shack, Ball of Confusion, which would rain, both with Dennis Edwards, who I think is just phenomenal. He replaced Letty Kendrick I think he was there, but anyway. So my father had no idea. He took my cousin and me. I don't know how old we are, 12, who knows? And he took us to Curtis Dixon Hall in Tampa. So we got to see, I saw the Temptations, saw the four, I think we saw Four Tops, but the Spinners for sure, but the Temps. And we went there and he dropped us off and he's looking and it was nothing but black people, but dressed up. And there was a style. Remember Eleganza? You might say it looked like pimp stuff. It's not, but very wild, very garish, big lapels. And there was a walk. My great friend Chuck Leonard, one of the greatest DJs, had that walk. People don't know he was black, but it was a walk. Nobody does this anymore. And my father says, "What is this?" He says, "That's where we're going." He goes, "You're going here?" So he's bringing these two white kids, 12, whatever. He goes, "Is this okay?" I said, "Yeah, of course. Why?" I didn't think anything of it. Okay. It's pretty gutsy, because, it was, but nobody, it was just imagine as far crossing the street, nothing, nobody, there weren't white people. We were there. And I got a hand to my parents. They said, "All right, fair enough." I don't know if I'd do that. Not because they're black. You understand what I'm saying, but just because it's just, you never know. To a rap concert? No. No. Kids, no. No. Those were Steppenwolf. Oh my God. John Kay. Dear God. I saw a group, I don't know if you ever remember, the Bodines out of Waukesha, Wisconsin. They were on Letterman. Phenomenal. These bands. Now, the last one, what was it, honey? Last time it was the Steely Dan at the Beacon. That's it. I have no interest in going. None. Zero. Gino Vanelli's coming. You want to go because of the band. because I think he's a genius. Gino Vanelli is just phenomenal. Well, I don't know. The tickets, I just don't have that. Have you noticed this? I don't have this kind of this, I gotta go see this. I've got to be a part of it. I don't feel that anymore. You know, do you ever feel like that? You just don't feel like, I don't know. And if you ever watch Daryl's place, Daryl Hall, when he has these great bands, he has a place called Daryl's house, Daryl's place. It's in Paulding, New York. We used to go by it all the time. And they have great city wineries down the street. I don't know what it is. There's nobody. Maybe it was a kid thing. Maybe it was I don't know. Maybe there was something where you could see like the Stones in a little club or something. But even the Stones, after a while, it's like, okay, I've seen them. You lose that. You know, I just don't have that excitement. You know, I got to see this and going there. One time we went, oh, this is great. This kind of match, sort of. We went to Jones Beach. It was during the mask. So we park, and they got these people, and they've got their trunks open, their boot open, and they're playing Hall and Oates. I say, what are you doing? No, play something else. I don't want to hear this. No. Anyway, they're throwing a frisbee. It didn't work. It's an older crowd. So anyway, we get to the front, and there's a sign that says no bags involved. No, you can't bring a bag in. So Mrs. L just had a purse. And I said, you know what? F this. Oh, yeah, I had to keep the mask, but also it was about your purse. So we said, screw this. We turned around and left. So I'm not going to sit there first. Right. I had them. I said, I'm not interested. And they had all these signs. I got to wear a mask. What are you talking about? We're outside. Jones Beach. Come on. Nope. I said, you know what? Forget it. Left. The hell with it. Here's one. When have you ever left a movie? Have we ever walked out of a movie? Or walked out of a play? Did we walk out of a play one time? I think one play. One. One time, there was what was his name? Alice, you know who he is. He was from Deadwood or whatever. He's that actor anyway, this was an Irish movie. It was an Irish. I had a hard time with him. And there was like two black couples. And I don't know if they knew anything about this. But these people are saying, I'll tell you what, your man there says, if he's so daft as a Mickey, because your man there is daft as a brush. I'll tell you what, your man there. And you say, fun. It is one there for don't stick. For God's sakes, folks stick. Anyway, so I kept hearing this. What the fuck? This is, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I want to tell them, I don't know what they're saying. These were they didn't know. Maybe they wanted to go to a movie. To a play. They didn't know. And I think that was one of your Schubert Alley. It was that weird kind of thing. Oh yeah. Oh no, that was across. No, that was it. That was another. Oh no, I know. Oh, I know. There was a community theater one. I said, this sucks. Oh, listen to this. One time, Mrs. L tells me, we've got to go support our friend. When I hear that, it's like, oh no. How about we're going to go enjoy ourselves? No, we got to support her. It's like, well, how about we're going to go and enjoy ourselves? We're not going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to support her. So this woman was Chinese, and she talked about how Chinese women who would come over here, and they would work in brothels, and that's what they had to do. And when this weird, remember, it looked almost like it was like downtown, Lower East Side or something. It was weird. I got one for you. So it looked like a sauna.
It was like folding chairs around.
No, well, yeah, but it was also like bench. It was wood. So she comes out, and all of a sudden she's lying, and all of a sudden she starts screaming. Now, why is she screaming? I'm not really sure. Her English was so, but I guess she's talking about the horror of being a prostitute. But I don't know. But she's screaming, and we're in this little thing. I'm thinking, what is she screaming about? Well, we couldn't leave because I had to support her. But here's the best one. You know what you're gonna say. Lower East Side, in a place called Siberia, KGB, Russia, Moscow. It was these weird, funky, I don't know what they are, performing. It was just, anyway. Oh, I know what it was. He was my guest. Remember this guy? Yes, he was a sleight of hand. He was a British guy. He was like a card sharp. He was like the Ricky Jay kind of a style. Anyway, we went there, and I think before this guy, we're in the basement of what used to be like a house, maybe turn of the century, and I'm sitting here, very artsy, and this guy is trying to jump up and down, and if you jump, you'll hit the ceiling, literally. All of a sudden, he steps into this. Like, imagine the biggest garbage bag you've ever seen. He gets into it. He pulls it up like a garbage bag, but a big one, like he would put industrial leaves. He then drops it. He's stark naked, and he's doing a jump rope. Remember that?
I still see it.
And his balls are flying all over the place. I'm thinking, what the hell is this? And people are like this. Yeah. I said, what are you clapping? What is this? What am I doing? Are they going to raid this joint? What is this guy's flopping around? He's jumping up and down. And I'm saying, I don't even know what this is. I think, was this the opening act? Or I don't even know what it was. We're looking at each other like, this cannot be happening. And people are like, because they're so cool, like, yeah, I expect, we're going to start snapping our fingers. Like, yeah. Oh. You know who did that? Remember those Native Americans? Yeah, they do this. When you're saying something, I was abandoned to wolves, and then the wolves abandoned me. Yeah. I remember one time she took me to this Native American group, and I think they're making this up. Hi, my name is Running Beaver. My tribe name is Tukwatikinakoa. I think, what? I'm part of the Chichina tribe from the Northern Cree, and I'm also part Arapaho, Munsee, Otunawa, and Kukah. If you say so, I guess. And they kind of look maybe a little, So we're sitting around there, and they're going around, and I swear to God, I think they're making this up. So all of a sudden, they pull out this. Well, it turns out it was sage. I thought it was a joint, and they're lighting it, and it smells. And they're passing this thing around. And I'm thinking, if it's all the same deal, I'll pass. No. So anyway, I'm sitting there, and the guy's like blessing me with it. I said, what are you doing? Get to smell the smoke. And here, I'm passing this thing around. The place is filling up with this sage, and I got Running Beaver and Crazy Horse over here, and they're just I think they were just making up. And I asked my wife, I said, how do you get me to these? What am I doing? It's kind of interesting though in a weird way, because I realized this is going to be good material, because I like to go to places that are just weird, something you just don't normally go to. We have seen some of the greatest things ever. When you go to we haven't been to a good reading in a while. A Broadway reading is the best. If you can go to see these this is for the investors. They will actually do the play, do the musical, whatever it is, on a table. It's the greatest. Jan Maxwell and others, the greatest. I know she's dead, but she was there. Some of the greatest actors I've ever seen in my life. The Marilyn Monroe thing was phenomenal. It used to be some of the stuff, some of the off Broadway. Yeah, they don't do it. Some of the off Broadway was wonderful. I mean, wonderful. So, anyway, so that's where we were today. We got a lot to talk about. Is everybody got any big plans? What are your plans for Memorial Day? By the way, those of you who are watching elsewhere, Memorial Day is where we always get confused with Veterans Day. Veterans Day is where we celebrate people who were veterans and served in the military. Memorial is, yeah, Fleet Week is when they used to come, the military, and they would dock and stay for a week. Marines and sailors all over the place. Haven't seen them. Normally they're for Memorial Day. So what is everybody doing? Dancing with myself. There you go. By the way, I want to party. I don't know about you, but this says it all right there. This is Lem Pop, dancing with myself. Look at this. They're still doing it. 1985, Memphis Billy Idol. No plans. Huns has to work. We cancel plans. This is a wild woman here. She has Huns. These are Hungarians that they have to work, and she canceled plans. By the way, spelled it with 2 L's. Very good. Very good. It's raining in Jersey. Oh, yeah, you're right. Jersey, all weekend. It's going to be raining all weekend. Oh, look at this. Taking my son to the carnival. Carnival, honey. Towing, cleaning my stove. I want to party with the warden.
Well, if they're going to make Fleet Week this year, it's going to be July 4th.
Oh, July 4th. Okay. I know you from Ybor. Wow. I was born there. Centro Asturias. My father, too. We are 2 Tampeños. Painting. We need rain in Tampa. Neighbors party. Rick Roars, by the way, has a lot to hide. A lot to hide. My plan is to not work. I'm working. I don't know what we're, I mean, I know you from Jack Harris, Jack shit. What's it? Working on the car. This is wonderful. I'm working. King Missile. Don't know what that means. Planting some pretty special plants. I'll bet you are. I'll bet you are. Oh, look at this. Cindy, by the way. Cindy, she's wild. She's going to put on some Sonny and Chet music, and I'm going to dance tomorrow night. Yay! Do the dancing like we do. Look at this. Watching Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine. Yeah, Jack Harris. Oh, Jack Harris and I. Oh, could we tell you? Did you ever know Chris Thomas from Channel 8? Oh, we were bad. Very bad. But in a good way. Floating in my pool. Look at this. Wonderful. 48 hours straight at the Blue Oyster Bar. Don't know what that is. You're going to just be there at the bar drinking or maybe perhaps working. I think that's wonderful. Oh, and Chris Thomas, the greatest. The greatest, the greatest, the greatest. I can tell you more Chris Thomas stories than you could ever imagine. All right, my dear friends, listen, thank you. Did we have fun tonight? Did we have fun? Didn't we have fun? Seriously, didn't we have fun? Didn't you have fun? Just for a moment to talk about when you went to concerts, when you went and just, you know what I mean? This is because it's important that in addition to all of the serious stuff we talk about and all of the angst and we at least know it's okay to have fun. You have to be able. Music is critical. Kids and family and all that kind of jazz. Just doing things that are just, fun. Regular fun stuff. Okay? So anyway, and this year we have the fireworks July 4th on the Hudson, so we get to see them. And there is nothing like looking out and seeing, pow, these things coming at you. It's really worthwhile. Remember to always have fun and smile at a child. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, graduation parties. Wild. You ought to show up and just get bombed and gooned to the max. This Andre in Lanai, I can't tell you what I thought this was when I first saw it. I'm not going to tell you, but it wasn't that. Can't imagine the city has a budget for fireworks. Well, it's not them. I think Macy's puts it on. They sponsor it. At least they used to do it. And we have the Grucci's and they come out. And then after a while, I was like, oh, okay. By the way, fireworks scare dogs and they're great for kids. But after a couple of minutes, I got it. Okay, good. Next one. Oh, this is green. Oh, this is green. Oh, green and red. I mean, come on. What are you going to do? All right, my friends. Have a great night. Thank you so much, my friend. Please follow Mrs. L. Thank you so much for her at Lynn's Warriors. She's doing a tremendous job. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and whatever you do, make sure you subscribe. I can't believe the number of people who actually listen to our stuff and follow along and don't do it. In any event, thank you. Have a great, a glorious, and a wonderful day. And please, my dear friends, please remember, as we always say, the monkey's dead. Oh, before tonight, 2 to 5 a.m. Eastern Time, WABC. You could just go online. You could just get the app and listen to this one. These poor people don't know what they have in store because they're not like you. They don't know how to handle this kind of discussion. In any event, that's tonight. So in any event, thank you. And as we always say, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta.